Hello and welcome to episode 261, I'm pretty sure, of Sutton and Back Family Style. I'm Jason.
I'm Bill, and I guess we'll start off with the Tar Heels putting the final in Coach K's Final Four career.
Yeah. And a really good game, too.
A really good game. The first half was sloppy.
Yeah. But close and
But the
competitive.
second half, they were filling it up, and the Carolina team just seems like one of those teams that got hot at the right time.
Very
I mean,
much
they were an
so.
8 seed, which I thought was low. I thought they should have been like a 5 or a 6, but they were an 8, and they've come on, they played.
Yes, they did.
But I just wonder if there was just too much pressure on the Duke kids. With it being Coach K's final, every time you're going to go, it could have been his final game and everything. I just thought that, maybe they willed it a little bit. I mean, they sure did not look good at the line last night, which was probably the telling point of the game.
You know what's funny? I've been pretty sleep deprived all week, so this would be my rationale for almost falling for it. But PTI did an April Fool's joke because everyone has to on their lead story. Do you know what their lead story was?
What?
That Coach K was stepping down for the Final Four game and turning it over to his assistant coach because he felt it was too much pressure on the kids. And that seemed like the kind of good guy Coach K move he might do to make himself look better. And then, obviously a minute, 30 seconds later, they were like, sorry for that, that's an April Fool's. And I was like, you bastards. But,
Yeah.
maybe that would have been a good thing in retrospect.
Um,
As we said off the air, if they win the championship, this might go down as the best season for North Carolina fan history. You beat Coach K in the tournament in his last game ever. You beat him at Duke in his last home game ever, and you win the national title with an alum.
That's a trifecta. It'd be
Yeah,
hard to top that.
and your coach is an alum that used to play for your team. I mean, one of your
Yeah.
hometown guys. Like that's
That's pretty heavy duty. I think I'm going to post that T-shirt I sent to you. I'll post it on my Twitter account so people can go to my Twitter account. Everybody, Sutton_ImpactU, and check out this T-shirt that's the hot commodity in North Carolina right now. I'll post it when we're done with the show today.
and with all the Carolina Duke talk, with all the St. Peter's talk, with all the other tournament talk, Kansas, the other one seed, that's the only one seed has remained, has just sort of quietly gone about their business, and now they're waiting for Monday night.
Yeah, and they played unbelievably well last night. They shot, I forget what they shot in the first half, over 60% in the first half. They were ridiculous from three-point land. And, Villanova was game, but they just couldn't catch it. They couldn't catch up. They started off down 10-0. At times they were down as much as 19. They cut it to 6. Never got it closer than 6.
No.
And they had no answers. It was a bad physical mismatch. They were so much smaller than Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
And the Kansas game plan of getting the ball inside to his name McDonald, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He had a career high game, but there was nobody. I mean, he had 5 or 6 inches advantage over the guy that was guarding him all night long. So I mean, they kept getting the ball. He made some great passes to free him up close to the hoop, and he responded.
So if you were doing this game and you were breaking it down, part of you would feel like North Carolina somewhat had their championship in the last round, and that maybe they're not ready for Kansas.
I don't know, but they're on a roll.
It's true.
They're on a roll. They're playing well. I don't think they can match it physically, but if they play, they kept Duke off. Duke did most of their damage from the 3-point line.
It's true.
Kansas did most of their damage inside, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting game, though. I look forward to watching that one. And I kind of look forward to tonight with South Carolina and UConn on the women's side. Although I just don't think that Connecticut can match up physically with South Carolina.
No.
And South Carolina's guards are really good, and they're going to cause some havoc for Paige Buchers tonight for sure. But we'll have to see. But I would definitely think that South Carolina and Kansas, if I was a betting man, I would bet that as a parlay that they would both win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for North Carolina. Is the only team of the four we're talking about that.
Yeah, I'm rooting for North Carolina and UConn, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I would like to see it happen. I like Hubert Davis a lot. I like him as a player, and I'd love to see him win it first time out. Shout out to Seton Hall for hiring a great coach, and shout out to St. Peter's players for going to the press conference and saluting the coach.
Yeah.
I think that was really classy.
Well, I mean, this is that coach's dream job. It's at his alma
Yeah.
mater in the city he lives in. The city, like it's, and he's never going to have another opportunity. I mean, it's hard to imagine he's going to get a group of kids like that at St. Peter's. It's going to be able to make enough noise in the tournament that gets him the attention he needs to get this kind of job. You know.
Agree.
And it's nice
I
that.
wonder if any of them are going to make the transfer portal.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I mean, it's a
Big
great
shot
school
in
for
the arm
them.
For Seton Hall in the Big East, because Villanova's been dominating the Big East. So we'll have to see what happens. See if this is a big shot in the arm for Seton Hall.
Yeah, but this is one of those times where it seems like you can't. No one's going to call the coach a mercenary. I don't think people are going to be mad at the players if they transfer. It was like he got that school historic. Not just for that school, but for any 15 seed. Did more for the university to bring them on the map basketball wise than anybody could have done. So you knew nothing but give them a hug and tell them good luck.
And maybe now they stay relevant. Maybe they stay relevant for a few years now.
It's possible. I mean, this Gonzaga is the ultimate example of the small school mid-major that has become a basketball mainstay every year. Although they keep kind of disappointing, I guess, depending on your view of them.
Well, I would assume they're probably promoting somebody on his staff to be the head coach at St. Peter's. I didn't follow up on that to see if that was true or not, but I'm assuming that would be the logical course of action.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes, but it was a great story and it worked out really well for him. Think about it: you get your dream job, you don't have to move, you don't disrupt your family, and you're at your alma mater. And you get 10 times what you're making.
Yeah, it was and the big raise, which is never going to be any, and who's going to complain about that?
No. So I wish him all the luck. I hope he has he's not going to sneak up on anybody now. That's for sure.
No.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, should we just go to Big Boy, hop into the pros real quick?
Yeah, let's go NBA. So the Lakers, our preseason pick to win it all, is not even going to make the play-in.
It's still on the one hand, you can look at Anthony Davis's injuries, his old ass dude roster, the misfit of Russell Westbrook, and just say, well, this makes sense. But at the same time, you're like, all right, 38-year-old LeBron is going to win the scoring title, and it's still LeBron and the Lakers. You're going to miss the play-in. It's just mind-boggling on some level.
Yeah, I mean, he bet on what he thought he could do with those players, and he was wrong.
Yeah.
And, after this many years, he's entitled to be wrong. So I give him a pass for being wrong. I mean, he did it for all the right reasons. He wanted to bring all these guys together and let them win another championship. And it just didn't work out. Whether they didn't have enough in the tank or they didn't have the right tank, you could say whatever you want to say. The experiment didn't work out. Even when they were all there, it didn't work out. So,
which was rare, though. So now if you're LeBron and you're the Lakers, you don't have a first-round pick until 2027, which I believe you can, and you can be able to trade your 2029 pick. But you've got LeBron, going to be 39 or 40 years old. And again, he's in that Tom Brady zone of until he can't do it, you just have to assume he can do it,
Yeah.
But you've got Russell Westbrook's albatross of a contract that you're either going to have to take, you're probably going to have to take back a bad contract and give up yet another future first-round pick. You have Anthony Davis, who was supposed to be the transitional great player on that team after LeBron left, but he can't stay on the court.
No.
At all. Every single year he's hurt. And if he's not, even when he's not hurt, he's always noticeably banged up for the most part. The little bubble tournament was the only time he stayed healthy for an extended period of time, and they won that, which is, so they got their championship. But what do? Do you trade Davis? If you're LeBron, do you force your way back to Cleveland again? I mean, does he even want to leave Los Angeles?
I don't know what I do. I mean, common sense would tell me to blow it up.
Yeah.
But you've already scuttled your assets, so, you're going to be bad. And by being bad, whoever you sold all those number one picks to is going to improve, and you're going to be in a worse situation.
Yeah, if you're in New Orleans right now, you have the Lakers pick, and you're going to be in the play-in game, and they're going to be out. So you winning is helping your team and you guys, and you're still getting the higher of the two picks.
Yeah.
But, if I'm a Lakers general manager, I'm not attaching anything to Russell Westbrook.
I don't think you can, because nobody's going to give you a pick for him.
No, and I'm not giving away my 2027 first-round pick. I know I'm not going to have LeBron. Odds are I'm either going to trade at AD or AD wants to be on the IR, so I can't really do anything with that.
No, you're going to end up paying Russell Westbrook probably not to play like they did with John Wall this year.
Yeah.
That's probably what you're going to see.
Because
in thinking about it, I don't know if I've ever know of a team now in worse shape than the Lakers are, because there's no way to get good because you don't have any assets
or any money to spend.
Assets you can trade, and you don't have any assets to draft.
And you have no money to spend.
I don't know what you can do.
Yeah. I think you would have to hope.
The only thing you can do is sign free agents, right?
And they don't have a lot of cap space,
though. The salary cap.
Yeah.
And you don't have any money anyhow.
Exactly. And if you're a free agent, this is no longer a destination to go play with LeBron.
It still could be, but probably not as evident as it was last year, that this is a great opportunity to go play with LeBron.
Well, there's still a LeBron stink, though. A lot of players don't want to play with LeBron because LeBron is a whiny baby that, also gets all the media love, where if they do good, you get no credit because it's LeBron's team and he did all the work. And anytime LeBron fails, it's on you because you failed LeBron. So the incentive of going to play with him is pretty low,
Yeah, good point.
But we have an exciting MVP race between Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. All big men, all over 7 feet tall, in a league that was supposed to be the death of the big man 4 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I think the playoffs are going to be very exciting. And, Memphis is 20-2 now without Ja.
Which is a weird stat. I don't know how to...
I've never seen a stat like that before. And they've showed what other teams have done without their star. And there's nobody in this stratosphere. This is unheard of.
Yeah.
But 20-2. And he's beat the Suns at full strength. The Suns full strength. And now the Suns have decided they're going to rest some players this week.
Yeah, it's one of the one stats
I want to play Memphis in the playoffs.
No. But that stat is one I just can't wrap my head around, because Ja's obviously amazing. Seems like a guy that everybody likes, and he's a good teammate. And it's not a small sample size. It's not like when the Steelers were 11-0 or the Patriots had a huge year and they beat all backup quarterbacks. They played good teams, and they're 20-2 without him. It's mind-boggling, I would not know how to assess that analytically or just from eye test or anything. It's crazy.
It's just unheard of. But they're going to be a really fun team to watch. As is Phoenix. As is Milwaukee.
As is Brooklyn.
I think Milwaukee's got a chip now since they've gotten any respect.
Yeah.
As is Boston.
It's a shame they lost Robert Williams, though. He was really, really important to that team. Because I think Boston was a legit contender with him, and I'm not sure if they are without him. And that sounds weird to say after the last couple of years, but he's really developed into a player you can keep on the floor.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I still want to watch Philly and Harden. I mean, even if it's a train wreck, or watch him fail, or watch him, finally do something.
He's just hard to root for.
He really is.
He really is. I can't imagine anybody.
Because when you watch Westbrook fail, right? When Westbrook fails, it's not due to a lack of trying or heart. It's usually due to a WTF play, or an ill-advised shot. It's not, him just shrinking in the big moments or fading away or quitting on his team. I just don't understand it.
No, Russ has never been a shot he didn't like.
Yeah.
in the last 10 seconds. He'll take anything.
And you heard
He's
Doc.
not shy. He's not bashful. He's just trying to win.
Yeah. And
But
you heard
his skill set eroded.
badly.
Yeah.
And you saw Doc Rivers' comments, right, when they were like, your bench got outscored. And he was like, that was really more James. I mean, I'm sure he didn't mean it quite as that big of a dig, but I mean, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Who would be your pick for MVP right now? Are you still on Ja? Or do you have to take away that they're 20-2 without him?
Now they're 22.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to back off of that. And I'm probably going to go. I'm probably going to go to Giannis.
I've come off Jokic and gone to Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the totality of the season, granted he's been amazing. Like I said, we talked a little bit about the Brooklyn game and the other games he's had this week, but like he's putting up historic numbers. He plays incredible defense, and his team is either going to be the number of the one or two seed. And I think the only reason you don't vote for him is because he's already got 2 in your board, and you want to spread the love around.
Yeah, but I tell you what, he can put a team on his back and just dominate. I mean, he is. I got to come off my pick and go with Giannis.
And he's that weird combination, and I don't know how else to articulate this, of incredibly confident and humble at the same time. Like, he'll take the three. He takes the 3 running down. He hits the free throws. He'll dunk over dudes, and he knows he can do it. And he can score on anybody, but he's still humble enough to know that he needs his teammates, and he's got to keep improving his game. And and then I always got the dad jokes he's throwing out in all the press conferences. Like, he's a lovely dude, and just a joy to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like Westbrook, the thing we like about Westbrook is he competes all the time, and Giannis competes all the time.
Yeah. And he's never on IR.
No, incredibly healthy. Knock on wood or whatever this desk is made of.
Yeah, but he's a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like they need to have an MVP award and then some kind of like, this is the guy we want to recognize for having a really good season, and we're bored voting for the other guy award. I don't know what that would be called, but
The debate's always been around. Is the MVP the best player?
Yeah.
Are they two different things? They can be the same thing, but they don't have to be.
No.
Who's meant more to their team? Who's the one that's lifted them up? So in the baseball world of wins above replacement, since we don't have that stat in basketball, maybe we need that stat. But Giannis is my MVP.
Because I feel like Giannis, my problem with the wins above replacement is, the team chemistry thing, and there's things that you can't measure according to, if I put in the most average player, we would win 3 less games. Like, that seems like a silly stat considering it's about people on some level and teammates, Mm-hmm. And you look at the effect that Harden had on his team and, the way they play without, just different guys really affect the locker room. But I think Giannis would statistically work out analytically, and I think clearly as a teammate, people love him too, so he would fit both.
No doubt. No, he's amazing.
And it looks like, the odds say we're getting another Phoenix-Milwaukee series, and I would be very happy with that as an NBA fan.
I would too, but I'm not going to discount Memphis now.
No.
I'm blown, like I said, I'm blown away by that stat because it's never existed before. And, if they can play that well without him for that long, that tells me that they've got a really solid group of people.
Yes. And good coaching and a great front office. They're just a well-run organization.
And I would be happy for my man, Big Steven, too.
Yeah. Again, another guy the analytics community claimed cannot play. So.
Yeah, all he does is win.
All he does is win, and his teammates love him. So there's got to be some kind of stat for that. Figure that one out.
And his opponents love him.
Yeah.
He might be Mr. Congeniality in the NBA. Well, let's go NFL.
Anytime you want to go NFL, let's go NFL.
So I shared with Jason offline that the hot rumor in Tampa is that Baker Mayfield, if the Browns cut him loose and there's no cost, that the Buccaneers will sign him and pick him up and put him behind Brady.
which I think is a smart move for the Bucks and for really a smart move for Baker if they want him.
There's no doubt. Still a lot of surprise down here that Arians stepped down. They kind of keep wanting to make it a soap opera that him and Tom Brady didn't get along, but I don't believe that. I just think he was ready to go.
Yeah.
And they made him a sweet deal, and they elevated Todd Bowles, which surprised me a little bit because a lot of people thought they would elevate Byron Leftwich.
Yeah, I did too. I love Byron Leftwich.
So we'll see what happens. But, obviously, Bruce Arians won't be calling it. Brian Leftwich will have total control of the offense this year.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that gets him his head coaching job next year.
Well, whatever him and Brady decide, yeah.
Yeah, whatever him and Brady decide. But, yeah, interesting. I also find it interesting that Packers haven't been able to sign any receivers. And they weren't able to cement the Devontae Parker deal, and he went to New England.
Well, the Packers do have
quarterback instead of Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, they have 2 firsts and 2 seconds. I'm also sort of surprised. Maybe his value is just too low that they haven't tried to move off of Jordan Love. Because if you're thinking you get 2 more years out of Aaron Rodgers, that means Love will be in his 4th or 5th year by the time he's ready to play. And in a quarterback, a draft that just doesn't seem to have anybody people are super excited about. Maybe Jordan Love, who I think is still 23, younger than Kenny Pickett. Maybe a team bites and you get another asset for the Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you get a 3rd first-round pick or another 2nd-round pick.
If Jordan Love, I'm probably the unhappiest man in Wisconsin right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, what does it say about the pick? If you were confident, would you have spent all that money on Aaron Rodgers if you were confident?
No, I don't think you would have been.
I don't think you would either. Unless you really think he'll win a Super Bowl this year and ride off in the sunset, and then you're ready to go with Jordan Love, which I don't think is going to happen either.
No. I mean, I understand why it's tough to trade for a 29-year-old wide receiver when you get rookies coming in all the time, and that, paying a receiver that amount of money is tough, but, Devontae Adams is a special player. And Aaron Rodgers relied on him incredible amount. I don't know, who's his go-to guy now? Because Van de Scouting signed with somebody else. I mean, if I'm the Packers, I probably draft him 3 or 4 at least wide receivers because I got to take, a number of swings. I got to get a couple guys that can come in right away and compete,
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about how...
I guess we got Randall Cobb.
Well, you talked about how our Steelers probably won't sign Devontae or Johnson after this year, right?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think he's going to want the money that what those guys got. He's not worth it. And I don't think the Steelers think he's worth that kind of money either.
See, if I'm the Steelers, I'm calling the Packers right now then. I know we're a team that needs wide receivers, but I think the Steelers need to do what Kansas City is doing this year, and the Steelers have failed to do for the last decade. And you don't stop competing, but you look at your team and you decide which assets you're going to move forward with in the future, which ones you aren't. Get as much value for the ones that aren't you can, and really play the long game for 2 years down the road or a year down the road.
I think that's a great idea.
If you don't
I don't think they'll do it, but I think it's a great idea.
If you have a team that's desperate like the Packers, and you got Deontay Johnson who, puts up big stats, gets open all the time, and you're not going to give him the kind of money he's going to want, and the Packers are sitting there with 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, I'm replacing him with a rookie on a rookie deal and, moving for the future.
I mean, the Steelers' track record, Antonio Brown is the only wide receiver that's ever signed a second-year contract, which is what they said. But I have to think Hines Ward would have to be in that group too, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but I mean, when you read in the paper, it says the only time they did it was Antonio Brown. I think they meant the last time they did it was Antonio Brown.
And the Antonio Brown was sort of a weird one because they had offered that deal to Mike Wallace. He turned it down. And Antonio Brown, as good as he wasn't Antonio Brown at that point.
No, he wasn't.
So they got him at kind of a discount, which makes, where Deontay Johnson, you're not getting at a discount. But like I said, if I could replace Deontay Johnson with the kid from Penn State or the kid at Georgia, if I could get, the Packers high second or, either one of their first or something for Deontay Johnson, like I said, I'm making that call if I'm Kevin Colbert and I'm still the GM.
I'd trade him for it too.
Yeah. And I'd use that pick on another receiver and I get somebody young on a 4-year deal in the building. Because I'm just being realistic. I mean, Mitch Trubisky winning the Super Bowl, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, or any of these guys. And I mean, again, the AFC, it's just not happening.
Hey, we're finishing fourth in the AFC North.
Most likely.
That's where we're going.
So I want assets.
Yeah. Any other NFL things you want to talk about? Any draft speculation? We talked offline. I told you I'm tired of that. No quarterbacks are going to be taken. Some quarterbacks are going to be taken. It goes back and forth every day depending on who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, I know some teams are going to be just quarterback blind, but I mean, I just feel like, especially as a Steeler fan or if you're an AFC fan, if you look at the list of great quarterbacks and then even, unproven ones like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, if I don't think I have a guy that can beat at least two of those guys in the playoffs, I'm not drafting him.
No.
Because there's never going to be a year in the next decade you're not going to have to go through some combination of Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Wilson, Watson. You go down the list. Like, I got to have a guy that can beat two of those guys in a row at quarterback. And I know it's a team sport and it's a general manager sport and you got to have everybody, but the years that Joe Flacco or somebody like that wins the Super Bowl with a great team around him are slim and none. It's quarterback play. It's the most important position in all of sports.
Well, I'm going to put an asterisk on my statement that the Steelers would finish last. The Steelers will finish last depending on how many games Deshaun Watson is suspended.
Yes. And hopefully, it should be a lot, just from whatever standpoint.
It should be, but
yeah.
I am hearing the number 6 a lot.
Well, there's precedent.
Yeah.
Although, if I was arguing the other side, I'd be like, okay, you gave Roethlisberger 6 for 3 incidents. This is 7 times that, so 7 times 6.
Yeah, well, that won't happen.
No.
Opening day this week, finally. I've been watching my Pirates. I've been watching the Red Sox. I've been watching the A's, the Angels. Don't know. I'm not that into it this year, but I'm excited that baseball's going to start. I saw Tony doing a commercial for the show, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
That he's either learned enough English or learned the dialogue that's required of him to do that commercial. And he was pretty personable in the commercial.
Yeah. He's a superstar.
I'm hoping good things for the Yankees.
Yeah, big time.
The Rays look loaded. The AL East is going to be really competitive.
Are the Rays like the best sign? I guess the worst news if you're a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, when you watch a similar citied organization just continue to be good and draft good players and do good things. I guess
Yeah, except the Pirates had more attendance than the Rays last year. So it's definitely the market. It's not good. But they're good. And their payroll is, I think the 3 lowest payrolls are the Pirates, the Rays, and the Orioles.
Yeah. But like Gonzaga earlier, the Rays have seemed to have something to become like a consistently steady.
Yeah, they've rated, the Rays and Orioles are rated the best farm systems in baseball. The Pirates aren't very far behind. I like the young Pirates that I've seen, but they're just not going to be good. They're going to lose north of 90.
Yeah.
But I will be at opening day, not this week, but next week when it opens in Pittsburgh. I'll be there on April the 12th. Suffering through my addiction.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all I can do. Entertainment moment. I want to talk about The Fall, which you've seen, and I stumbled into it the other night. It's 3 seasons. Gillian Anderson. It's a BBC production. Really tight, great storyline, really well done. I would highly recommend it. And you said you would too, right?
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I forgot to mention it. It's been doing our show recommendations all this time.
But I've just really, really enjoyed it.
Well, I watched Gerard Carmichael's comedy special on HBO, which was pretty good, and then I watched him host SNL this morning before we started the show, and this is a really good SNL.
Okay. I did not see my SNL. I'll have to check it out today.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Jamarco. I know I've talked about his sitcom on here, which I think is one of the most underrated sitcoms in the last 2 or 3 decades. I mean, just if you want to know, Gerard Carmichael, Tiffany Haddish, David Allen Greer, Lil Ray Howard, Loretta, I forget her last name. Like, it's an incredible cast, and it's just really funny. So,
Who was the host on Saturday Night Live last night?
Gerard Carmichael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to check it out then.
Yeah. They do an excellent Will Smith sketch. You'd think that joke was played out by the end of the week, but they kind of nail it. And here's
definitely. I'm gonna go in as soon as I hang up. As soon as we hang up the broadcast, I'm going to watch it.
And if that wasn't enough, you get a Kenan Thompson as O.J. Simpson on the news segment.
And shout out on entertainment to AT&T with LaMelo and Lamar Ball.
Yeah.
Have you seen the commercial?
I have.
So I got to give him a shout out. I thought it was tasteful. I thought it was well done.
And we forgot to mention it is WrestleMania, and Stone Cold is back. So.
Stone Cold's back, and 77,000 people going to a scripted finish. Pretty amazing to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the best reality
all
TV.
over the world.
Yeah. It's reality TV with fighting. I mean.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the daytime soaps with different characters.
Yeah. And it's a very unique business because it's one that, it wavers as far as like, if you say you like, I mean, I think wrestling, the stigmas come off. But.
Oh, yeah.
Even so, I mean, it's one of the few places like you leave and people keep coming back. Like The Rock will still come back and be involved in wrestling even though he's the biggest star in the world. John Cena still goes back. Like all the guys, the people you would think are like, I'm above this now. I've used this as my platform. Seem to love the business enough that they keep going back to it. So.
And I think they acknowledge what it did for him too.
Yeah, and it's nice that again, like I said, I know it. I think for every teenager it becomes lame to like wrestling no matter how old you are. But it was a thing for adults where it's like just like with video games have now become completely acceptable as opposed to a time when it was like, oh, you play games.
Well, you know what? I like watching Young Rock, which is about the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Because his father and his family and everything like that. And it's been very, very interesting. And I think he does a great job on that show.
He's very likable.
He is very likable, and he's very open. He's very honest. And he talks about tough times in his life and struggles and everything. And I think he's just really, I admire him for his honesty.
Yes. I do feel like he over-exaggerates his origin story a little bit from time to time. He was born to be a good-looking 6'6" guy who got a full ride to Miami and had a third-generation wrestling star that had a contract waiting for him coming out of school. So it wasn't exactly like the struggle that he makes it out to be.
Some of the stories, though, where like where he got cut from the Canadian Football League and things like that, that's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, he's had a parachute and a fallback that most people have never had.
Right.
Besides physical gifts, yeah. I mean, I think we have when you look at all the issues in society, we really need to address people's bullshit origin stories, and the notion that everyone can just work hard and they'll make it because that's not.
That's not true.
No, some of the hardest working people don't. Some of the laziest people do. It's
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, I just feel like some people have you want to inspire, so you sort of take some liberties with your origin story. But I think sometimes that's more harmful than it is helpful.
Yeah. Well, I sent you a book that I want you to talk about on the show after you've read it.
Okay.
Where Serpents Lie by T. Jefferson Parker. I think T. Jefferson Parker is a really good writer. Really good writer, mystery writer. I really appreciate his stuff that he does. Any food moments?
No, I've been at work all week. I've just had catering.
And I haven't had any food moments either. And I was going to go to Cleveland and have a food moment tonight, but unfortunately my plane thing got screwed up, so I won't be going to Cleveland tonight. So no food moment for me this week either.
Huh.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
A week without a food moment for either of us is a bad week.
It's true. Well, I've worked almost every day, and I just got a call right before we got on the air that I'm going back in today for some studio stuff. So,
Well,
not a good time
next
for
week,
food.
you can talk about what I sent you from Gold Belly next week.
Okay, I'll do that then. Well, thank you to all our Patreon people. If you can, come support us. If not, we'd love some more interaction, especially as we're getting, once this NBA season ends and we have the NFL draft, we're going to have a couple of months where we're going to need some topics to talk about.
Yes, we'll be researching those and trying to figure it out because it won't just be baseball.
No. It will not.
All right, everyone, have a great week.